I'm excited to introduce our guest, Cameron Rosen. You would recognize him from Cameron Rosen on TikTok and Instagram, but he is also the host of the This Might Be Helpful podcast, as well as offering This Might Be Helpful terpene blends, which are very interesting to me because I've had a history with essential oils, and I'm very interested in terpenes, of course, for my history with cannabis in the cannabis industry, not just my recreational use of cannabis, let's just say. Cameron is a fantastic host of his podcast. I really enjoy listening to all of the insights that he does share. He's very vulnerable, he's very honest, and he's very helpful, which is why the name of his podcast is perfect. His TikTok content is especially enjoyable because it really touches on what I feel are the most important parts of philosophy, stoicism, neuroscience. It makes it more applicable rather than just intellectual. He really does try to make it about what's helpful to him in his life. And because of that, I've been excited for this conversation for a long time. So without any further gilding of the lily, welcome, Cameron. I'm glad that you could make it. If you don't mind just sharing with our audience a little bit about yourself, what you do, and how you got to this point in your journey.
All right. Thank you, Ray. Hey, you make a great intro, might I say. That was very smooth. For a bundle of uncertainty just wrapped up in your neural pathways, you do a wonderful job. Thank you for that introduction. My journey, I mean, geez, there's a question I've received a lot, like, hey, who are you? Why are you like this? And it's like, where do I start? How old are you? What do you mean? My biological age, if I just going to be spouting off some metrics here. I was raised in a small town in Montana, out in more or less the middle of nowhere. We had 9 bars and 12 churches, and we were one of the only non-religious families there. So that had a bit of an impact, I'd say. My parents fostered curiosity and experience above really all else. So I grew up whitewater rafting. My dad had a rafting company in Montana. My mom had a eclectic jewelry store, traders of the exotic boomerang beads. So she'd trading in rare African beads. And it was certainly a little bit out of the general scope of that town, but people liked her for it. And then 16 years or so ago, we moved to Australia to be closer to her family. Ended up staying. 16 years later, I'm still here, going back and forth because it's a society that makes sense for the most part.